for the good health of people. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Sarvastaratu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, sarvassadbuddhima apnotu, sarvasarvatra nandatu. May all be happy, may all be peaceful, may all be free from difficulties, dangers, and diseases. May all see what is good, listen what is good, speak what is good, and do what is useful to others. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be enlightened everywhere. May all be healthy everywhere. May all be sensitive to others' problems everywhere. Om asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om. Namaste, very good evening, Shubha Sandhya to all of you. Hope all of you are keeping well and doing your work and maintaining balance, maintaining your emotions properly. Sadhana is very important. Discipline is very important. And through discipline, through sadhana, through satsangam, you can increase your quality and quantity of confidence. And character, of course, is a finished product, chiseling, polishing. So now you'll be seeing a small video, few minutes only today, tomorrow the balance, about Swami Vivekananda's visit to Hyderabad. It's a documentary. Vivekananda had visited Hyderabad before going to America. 1893, February 10th, he came to Hyderabad. Stayed here for 1 week. From Chennai he came. On the invitation of the local people and some known people, he came, went around the whole city, met the Nawab, gave his first public lecture in his life in Mahbub College in Secunderabad, then moved on to back to Chennai, Chennai to Rajasthan, and Rajasthan to Mumbai, and that is how he crossed the ocean to speak at the Parliament of Religions. So this is a Telugu documentary, Telugu voiceover with graphics. So it should not be a problem, but later I will just summarize for the benefit of non-Telugu people. Please watch, get the historical information that will increase our devotion and our tribute to Swami Vivekananda.
స్వామి వివేకానంద హైదరాబాద్ సందర్శనం. అవి భారతావని దాస్య శృంఖలాలతో ఆంగ్లేయుల చెరలో ఉన్న రోజులు. వాటి నుంచి విముక్తి పొందేందుకై పోరాటాలు జరుగుతున్న రోజులు అవే. సరిగ్గా అప్పుడే ఒక ఆశాకిరణం తన జ్ఞాన సముపార్జనతో యావత్ దేశాన్ని చైతన్యపరిచింది. ప్రజలలో పేరుకుపోయిన అజ్ఞానాన్ని, తామెప్పుడూ బానిసలమనే అసత్యపు పొరలను తొలగిస్తూ దేశ ప్రజలకు వేదాంత సారాన్ని బోధించింది. ఆ సమర శంఖారావమే స్వామి వివేకానంద. స్వామీజీ పరివ్రాజకుడిగా మొత్తం భారతదేశాన్ని పర్యటన సాగించారు. ప్రజల సమస్యలను ప్రత్యక్షంగా చూస్తూ
వారి వేదనలను గ్రహించారు.
సంకల్పం ఎంత గొప్పదో జీవితంలోని క్లిష్ట పరిస్థితుల్లో మనకు తెలిసి వస్తుంది. చేపట్టిన పనిని త్రికరణ శుద్ధిగా అమలుపరిచేందుకు సిద్ధమైనప్పుడు కాగల కార్యాన్ని సమస్త శక్తులు ఒక్కటై నెరవేరుస్తాయి. అమెరికా వెళ్లేందుకు పరిపరి విధాలుగా ఆలోచిస్తూ సంశయ స్థితిలో ఉన్న స్వామీజీకి హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి ఆహ్వానం అందింది. దీని వెనక దైవ సంకల్పం ఉండే అవకాశాన్ని స్వామీజీ సైతం భావించకపోలేదు. అటు స్వామీజీ తన ఆప్తుల నుంచి కూడా హైదరాబాదును సందర్శించాల్సిందిగా పలుమార్లు ఆహ్వానాలు అందుకున్నారు. ఆ రోజు రానే వచ్చింది. స్వామీజీ రాక ఖరారైంది. ఫిబ్రవరి 10వ తేదీన ఆయనకు స్వాగతం పలికేందుకు హిందువులు, మహమ్మదీయులు కలిసి సుమారు 500 మంది వేచి ఉన్నారు. వివేకానందుల వారి రాకతో
ఈ నేల సైతం పరవశించేందుకు సన్నద్ధమవుతున్నట్లుగా ఉండింది అక్కడి వాతావరణం. కాషాయ వస్త్రాలు ధరించి
చేతిలో కమండలంతో ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ పెట్టె నుండి దిగారు స్వామీజీ. నవాబ్ సికిందర్ జంగ్ సహా పలువురు స్వామీజీని ఘనంగా ఆహ్వానించారు. వారిలో హైదరాబాదులో అత్యున్నత పదవుల్లో ఉన్న వ్యక్తులు,
సంఘంలోని పెద్ద మనుషులు కూడా ఉన్నారు. ఒక సన్యాసికి ఇంత ఘనమైన స్వాగతం లభించడం
మునుపెన్నడూ చూడలేదని ఈ దృశ్యాన్ని ప్రత్యక్షంగా వీక్షించిన ఒకరు తన స్మృతులలో రాసుకోవడం వివేకానందుల వారి మహత్వాన్ని చాటి చెప్తుంది. మరుసటి రోజున అంటే ఫిబ్రవరి 11 స్వామీజీని కలిసేందుకు
సికింద్రాబాద్ నుంచి 100 మంది వచ్చారు. ఖుర్షిద్ జా రాజప్రసాదాన్ని స్వీకరించిన అనంతరం
ఆ రోజు హైదరాబాదులోని పలు చారిత్రక ప్రదేశాలను వీక్షించారు స్వామీజీ. మక్కా మసీద్, చార్మినార్, ఫలక్నామా,
నిజాం రాజప్రసాదాలు,
బషీర్ బాగులతో పాటు పలు హిందూ దేవాలయాలను సైతం సందర్శించారు. ఆయన పర్యటనతో హైదరాబాదులోని అణువణువు పావనమైందని చెప్పాలి. ఫిబ్రవరి 13 స్వామి వివేకానందుల వారి జీవితంలో ఇదొక మరుపురాని రోజు. ఆ రోజు ఉదయం నిజాం కొలువులో మత విధానాలను గురించి ముచ్చటించారు. సాయంత్రం మహబూబ్ కళాశాలను సందర్శించారు.
వారి ఆహ్వానాన్ని స్వీకరించి తాను ప్రసంగిస్తానని ముందే వారికి తెలిపిన స్వామీజీ
ఆయన జీవితంలోని తొలి బహిరంగ ప్రసంగాన్ని అందించారు. పాశ్చాత్య దేశాలకు వెళ్లడంలోని ఆయన ఉద్దేశం అనే అంశంపై సాగింది ఆ ప్రసంగం. ఐరోపా వారితో కలిపి సుమారు 1000 మంది ఈ సభలో పాల్గొన్నారు.
ఆ వేదికపై స్వామీజీ వారి ఆంగ్ల భాషా వక్తృత్వము, పాటవము వెరసి వారందరినీ ఆశ్చర్యపరిచాయి.
హిందూ మత గొప్పదనము, సనాతన హైందవ సమాజము, సంస్కృతి, వేదాంత భావనలు, పురాణాలు బోధించే నైతిక ఆదర్శాలు,
ఇలా అనేక అంశాలు, వారి నుంచి వెలువడిన భావతరంగాలు శ్రోతలను కొత్త లోకాలకు తీసుకెళ్లాయనడం అతిశయోక్తి కాదు.
ప్రసంగం చివరిలో తాము పాశ్చాత్య దేశాలకు వెళ్లడంలోని ఉద్దేశాన్ని వ్యక్తం చేశారు.
మన మాతృదేశాన్ని నూతన జవసత్వాలతో పునరుజ్జీవింపజేయాలి.
అందుకోసమే ఈ పాశ్చాత్య దేశాల ప్రయాణం అంటూ ముగించారు. వివేకానందుల వారు ప్రసంగించిన ఈ సభకు
పండిత్ రతన్ లాల్ అధ్యక్షత వహించారు.
ఇంతమంది శ్రోతల ముందు ప్రసంగించడం ఆయనలోని ఆత్మవిశ్వాసాన్ని మరింత ఇనుముడింపజేసింది. భవిష్యత్తులోని విశ్వవేదికపై ప్రసంగించేందుకు ఇదొక చక్కటి అభ్యాసమైంది. అతీంద్రియ శక్తులను సంతరించుకున్న ఒక యోగిని స్వామీజీ హైదరాబాదులో కలుసుకున్నారు. ఏ వస్తువు కోరుకున్నా దానిని రప్పించగల శక్తివంతుడు ఆయన. కొందరు మిత్రులతో స్వామీజీ ఆయన్ను కలుసుకునేందుకు వెళ్లారు. స్వామీజీ ఆ యోగిని కలిసినప్పుడు అతను జ్వరంతో బాధపడుతున్నాడు. ఆయన వద్దకు వెళ్లిన స్వామీజీ ఆయన శక్తులను ప్రదర్శించి చూపమని అడిగారు. అందుకు ఆ యోగి, తప్పకుండా మీకు ప్రదర్శించి చూపుతాను కాని అంతకు మునుపు మీరు నా తల మీద చెయ్యి వేసి ఉంచి ఆశీర్వదించాలి. అప్పుడు నా జ్వరం నయమవుతుంది అన్నాడు.
ఆయన చెప్పినట్లే చేశారు స్వామీజీ.
కొద్దిసేపటి తర్వాత మీకు కావలసినవి ఒక కాగితం మీద రాసి నాకివ్వండి అని యోగి చెప్పడంతో ఆ ప్రాంతంలో లభించని ద్రాక్ష, కమలా ఫలాల వంటి పండ్ల పేర్లను రాసి ఆయనకు అందించారు స్వామీజీ. ఆ యోగి గుత్తులు గుత్తులుగా ద్రాక్ష, కమలా ఫలాలు మొదలైన వాటిని అప్పటికప్పుడు సృష్టించాడు. పొగలు కక్కుతున్న వేడివేడి అన్నం కూడా తెప్పించాడు. వాటిని తినమని స్వామీజీతో చెప్పగా అదేదో గారడి అని తలిచిన మిత్రులు స్వామీజీని తినకుండా అడ్డుకున్నారు. కానీ
Yes. So this is a small promo video. It's actually 20 minutes. Not time for that. Later on, when things become better, we have put in a big screen in the Mutt campus. This is mostly, it is lost in the history of Swami Vivekananda's life. So for those who are in Hyderabad also, even the officers or the executives or the ministers, government people also don't know. They only know about Chicago, they know about Kanyakumari, or they know about 12th January. So this history of Vivekananda, we should not overlook. Okay. So it's your responsibility to connect yourself with Swami Vivekananda's teachings, our traditions, our cultures, Ramakrishna Math activities, wherever you are. Outstation people, please explore the possibilities of going to the center, Ramakrishna Math Center in your city. How will you know? Google search, website, belurmat.org. Say you are in Bangalore, type Ramakrishna Math Bangalore. You are in Delhi, type Ramakrishna Mission New Delhi. Simple. You are in Hyderabad, opposite Indira Park, Domalguda. You are in Kadapa, somebody, your relatives may be there in Kadapa, opposite RIMS, Putlampalli, Ramakrishna Mission, Kadapa. So Vijayawada, Ramakrishna Mission, Sitanagaram, actually it's Guntur Jilla. Bombay, Ramakrishna Mission, Khar. So you are somewhere else in a Pune, anywhere, whole list is there in the website. Please get connected, go there in the evenings or Sundays, holidays, festival days, spend some time everywhere, temple, meditation halls, book stalls, libraries are all there. See what happens, class is okay, you are just connected with Hyderabad online. But physically now, at least 2 hours, say in Chennai, in Bangalore and other places, they permit. You can go with your family and meet somebody or make pranam to Sri Ramakrishna and come back. That will be a good refueling, recycling, renewing, should I say. So we need your support, we need your participation, not only online, but in other activities, other programs, other events like that. So character, self-confidence, very important. If the whole responsibility is thrown upon our shoulders, we shall be at our highest and best. When we have nobody to grope towards, no devil to lay our blame upon, no personal God to carry our burdens, when we are alone responsible, then we shall rise to our highest and best. I am responsible for my fate. I am the bringer of good unto myself. I am the bringer of evil. I am the pure and blessed one. We must reject all thoughts that assert the contrary. Here is a beautiful figure. Picture the self to be the rider and this body the chariot. The intellect to be the charioteer, mind the reins, and the senses the horses. He whose horses are well broken and whose reins are strong and kept well in the hands of the charioteer reaches the goal, which is the state of him, the omnipresent. But the man whose horses, the senses are not controlled, nor the reins, the mind well managed, goes to destruction. But those whose minds have become purified and refined realize him. The way is long and perilous, but struggle on. Do not despair. Awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached. There's 2 important teachings I read out from Vivekananda's book. There is a new book which has come. New book means Vivekananda's teachings in a new format. Title is Nation Building Through Character Building. Title is Nation Building Through Character Building. Collection from life and Vivekananda's letters, his lectures, conversations. It's a beautiful small book, just hardly how many? 75 pages. At a time when India is spearheading towards making a place for herself on the global stage, nothing can be more relevant and necessary than Swami Vivekananda's words of inspiration to dedicate one's life for the cause of one's motherland through the building of a strong character. That is the background purpose of this book. So directly it will go into character building, and you can read occasionally in your free time, connect it with the situation, connect it with your life, and put it in your status, share the information, message, inspiration with your colleagues. That is how we keep the freshness. Okay. So we are entering into the day number 4 of this course. Tomorrow, last day, and subsequently other courses also will announce tomorrow. Today we have a very young faculty, very young in the sense, very young. He is only 84 years young. Okay, we don't call him 84 years old. He is Sri K. Satyanarayana Garu. He was in the Indian Air Force, served the nation in the Indian Air Force, and after relinquishing that service, because they have some limited time, then he plunged into community development in Hyderabad, an entire area in Kukatpalli, Pragati Nagar. He took it to the highest levels of excellence, got a lot of certificates and made it plastic free and other deadly things generally sold in the shops. Pragati Nagar, very famous. And then he is the founder of HRD in Hyderabad, and very senior faculty, connected with us from the beginning, last 20 years. Big, very good friend, good advisor, well-wisher, and a loving person. Because of his discipline in the Air Force, he stays in Sainikpuri, one end of the civilization in Hyderabad, Secunderabad, beyond the army barracks. But still 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the scheduled time, you want him to come morning 6 o'clock, he is there at 5:50. You want him to come at 8 o'clock, he is there at 7:50. You want him to come at 6 or 6:30 in the evening, he is there at 6:15 in the evening, traveling by bus. He believes in simple living, high thinking, and sacrifice. So these people are there. They are our support. They are our strong pillars of the institution. So he is man of a lot of confidence, and his character he has seen through life. So he will share his experiences, his knowledge. Big reserve bank. Reserve bank also sometimes I feel limited in before Satyanarayana Garu's knowledge bank. The amount of information, amount of videos, and great news of the country, some sad news of the country, he keeps on sending to us for learning and knowing things. That's how we get more and more purpose in life. So Satyanarayana Garu is there joining us live from his home in Sainikpuri, Hyderabad, Secunderabad. So I request him to take over for the next 1 hour plus and share confidence and character building for the country. Namaste, Satyanarayan ji.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Yes.
Thank you so much for those kind words. I know how much I deserve.
Less, very less. Ajit Singh also will tell about Satyanarayana Garu. So much. Wonderful person. Thank you. Keep healthy, keep strong, and march on to inspire the younger generation. Over to you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thanks. Friends, namaskar to all of you. We will talk on those two things which Swamiji has already highlighted. That is both the confidence building, self-confidence, and also the character, importance of character. As all of you know that Swami Vivekananda kept on insisting that a nation is built in the classroom. And also, he kept on saying the education should be man-making or character-building education. The education, are you all able to hear me? Hello?
Sir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So the education is only character-building education, man-making education. In fact, till independence at least, we had only that type of education in the Indian schools. Mostly the type of Gurukul system where the teachers expected nothing. They were not paid even salaries, but they used to teach only the values for character building, man making. It's only after independence, I think, we have messed up our education system, and then we have removed. You see, in the earlier days when we were in the schools, we were not taught even alphabets till we went to high school. In the initial primary school, all we were taught was morals, the Sumati Satakam, the Vemana Satakam, the Bhaskar Satakam, the Dasarathi Satakam. Those things are with 101 poems with meaning, with substance, etc. Because that's how character was built. The education was only character building. It is not. Education was not for money making. Actually, it became for money making only when we destroyed the handicrafts in the villages, when we destroyed the professions of the villagers. Otherwise, people went to school or college only for gaining knowledge, but they were in their own family profession or calling. Unemployment was almost unheard of in this country, and every person at birth had lifetime employment because he automatically got into his father's profession or calling, and therefore people lived a very, very happy life actually. And religious harmony was something that I have seen in the villages where caste or religion did not matter at all. The entire village lived like one family. Any tragedy or any difficulty in one family, the entire village rose up as one family. I mean, that's the type of life we had in this. But unfortunately, it's only after independence, the politicians have divided the people on the basis of caste, on the basis of religion, on the basis of all that. And the education system got messed up because the Hindu religion is really deleted from the syllabus. And automatically, it is no longer taught. When we were children, we were taught ఒక్కడు మాంసం ఇచ్చి ఇద్దరు కోసి ఇచ్చి వీరొకడు అస్థిని ఇచ్చి నిగరొకడు ప్రాణంని ఇచ్చి వీళ్ళు నూనక పట్టునని బ్రతుకునోపు ఇచ్చిరు కీర్తికి ఇచ్చిరు చక్కగా చూడు మంత్రి క్రోసంభవ రాయన మంత్రి భాస్కర how the people have given up whatever they have. That's the type of morals are. So these are the type of education that we had in the ancient times. So I will focus on those two things. One is the self-confidence. What is the necessity of self-confidence? And the other one is what is the importance of character? How that is the most important thing in whatever profession or calling that you have. So before I go into my small PPT, I would like to ask you, would you like me, you have already completed 3 days of the course. This is the 4th day and you have one more day tomorrow. So you have any specific issue that you want me to deal with today, or you have any doubts? Because in the end, sometimes you may not get time, but tell me, or you want me to go ahead with my PPT and then you want to raise questions in the end, that's also okay with me. So any of you who are curious to know something about, some query or question?
So you're muted, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So would any of you like to ask me whatever I spoke so far? Were you able to hear me, or I was on mute?
We are able to hear you, sir.
No, we were able to hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Tell me. Would you like to ask me anything, or should I go ahead with talking on self-confidence and also on the character, importance of character building?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Ashita.
yes, sir. I'm actually preparing for civil services, sir. Sir, but I'm actually in my previous attempts, I didn't qualify to it. So I'm actually preparing for next year. But when I'm preparing, there is a lot of from society, family pressure, society pressure, and the failure burden. Everything just comes over it, sir. And I'm actually trying to overcome it, but it just keeps on when I'm focusing on that point, it just keeps on increasing and increasing like that, sir. And please suggest me for that how one can deal with the insults, sir.
Shita, you are preparing for civils?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, all I want to tell you is, you see, once you decide to go on civils, just be deaf to all what people talk to you. You have self-confidence. If it is not the first attempt, you will get it through second attempt. If not second, third. If not third, fourth. But definitely you will get into civil services once you made up your mind to get into, because that is the power that you have already within you. You have the power of God within you. So believe in this, that you are going to become. Only thing is, whatever your relatives are, whatever your friends who are discouraging you, just don't bother about it. Be deaf to them. Be like those, the two frogs fell in a well. Both of them were told by other frogs that you will die, you will die, you will die. One frog died immediately. And the other frog kept on jumping. And finally it came out. And all the frogs said, we were all shouting that you will die, you will die. The other frog died, but how is that you jumped? The frog said, oh, I am deaf. That's the reason why I could not hear what you were saying. I thought you were encouraging me. So it is good that sometimes you be deaf to what other people are talking about, and don't bother. You listen to you read the biographies of some of the IAS achievers like Ankurati Pallavi from Andhra Pradesh, who studied in Telugu medium, who wrote her civils in Telugu medium. And she got, in the very first attempt, she got a rank of something like, no, in the first attempt, she didn't get. She failed in the interview because her communication skills in English were bad. And those days, they were not allowing interviews in regional languages. So what she did is, next 2 years, she prepared, and then again, she went, this time she went alone without a translator. And she got through, but the only thing is, she got a rank of 101. That did not get her IAS. So in the third attempt, she again attempted, after joining, of course, as a commercial tax or something. Third attempt, her rank fell down further to 191. Fourth attempt, yes, she got. Her rank was 50 or something, and then she got into Karnataka cadre, and today she is a daredevil IAS officer. In the first 5 years of her career, she had 9 transfers. She does not care anybody, because only President of India can remove her. As long as one is honest, why do you need to be afraid of these politicians? So listen to the stories of such a, there is a girl from Kerala, from the tribal community, and how she got into IAS. So yesterday I was reading a news item in Uttarakhand, where a boy, he's a very poor boy, he's in a hut, and he didn't have even a cell phone, or he didn't have a computer on this online education during the last 1 year. He studied only with hard copies of the books. He did not even have a cell phone. And he stood district first. So examples gather, only thing is, all that you need to have is, as Vedu Sundaramurthy garu said in one of the Telugu cinema, Manishai Puttinavadu Karadu Matti Bomma, Pattudale unte Kagaladu Maro Brahma, Krishi unte Manshulu Rushulavtaru, Mahapurushulavtaru, Tarataraga Taragani Vilulavtaru, Yalavelulavtaru. Believe in this. All that you need is hard work and the willpower never to give up. Krishi, Pattudala. No, both of them, if you have, you will definitely get into IAS, if not this year, next year. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
From all negative feedback, surround yourself with only optimistic people. All the pessimists, keep them away. Keep yourself away. And then you will see that you will be an IAS officer very soon. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Pointed devotion, your time management.
Yes, sir.
90% of your time, you must concentrate only on how to become, how to get through civils.
Yes,
so rest
sir.
all the things, don't bother. They're all will come, they'll come. But concentrate only on that. I'm not saying don't play or don't listen to songs, etc. But all that keep to 10% of your time. 90% of your time must go into how you will reach your dream of becoming an IAS officer. Keep that, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question? Okay, so what I will do is, who is the coordinator here from VAHE? Supriya. What's her name? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Supriya.
You're Supriya? Supriya. Yeah,
Yes,
now
sir.
you will have to tell me, how do I go to my PPT? The share screen is the blue icon there. Should I press that?
Yes, sir. Share screen option. You should press that, sir.
Okay,
And then it will show you dialog boxes.
okay.
And then
Okay. Yeah.
you should click.
Share. Okay,
Yes, sir. Share screen.
okay.
Sir, are you logged in laptop or? Yes, sir. It has come, sir.
Let's come.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What has come?
Your desktop, sir.
My desktop has come.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I am happy. So let me see now. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You're able to see this PPT?
Yes, sir. The PPT has come.
Okay, good. Okay. Now you're also able to hear me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's
Now,
perfect.
so all of you who wants, if you like to get this PPT or you want to be in touch with me, you can note down my email address ksnhrd@gmail.com, or my number is 94406-65375. You can note down. So once you did that, I'll move a little fast from this PPT because the time is very limited. We only have another half an hour. Maybe I like to show you something on character also. Maybe I'll show some videos, etc. Okay, but time is very limited, so I'll just skip. Can I move to the next slide, please?
Yes, sir.
What is self-confidence? Whenever you start doing anything, go with confidence that you will succeed. When you go to a doctor, the first thing that you need to have is, yes, with this doctor, my disease will be cured. When you are writing an examination, you must go with the confidence that I am going to get through this examination. Now, how do you get this confidence? It will depend upon the amount of preparation that you have, or whatever logical things. Without confidence, without that belief that I am going to succeed, or I am going to achieve this, or I am going to score this much, or with that confidence, do not attempt anything. What is the difference between self-confidence and overconfidence? Self-confidence is always based on your preparation, on your hard work and things like that. Overconfidence is absolutely nothing. You don't know why you have that confidence. It is like the story of a squirrel, which I'll tell you in one of the slides. Next slide. So the self-confidence, I'll also show you a video on this if possible. How overconfidence, we can ruin our own lives in a fraction of a second. So how to cultivate the habit of self-confidence? Before I go to this, let me tell you on this lack of what is overconfidence. Supriya, now how do I go back to the slide again?
Escape. There is an escape option, sir.
Escape option. Okay.
Yes.
Where is that? Share.
On the top left corner, sir.
On the top left.
In keyboard, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Huh?
Keyboard,
It has
keyboard.
gone
In
to
keyboard.
the. It has gone to
Oh, on the
next
keyboard.
slide,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great. No, I was looking on the slide there.
Okay.
Now,
Sir, again, it
look
has-
at this small video. How overconfidence. This is overconfidence. This video will tell you what is overconfidence. So you saw that. You're able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're able to hear me. So you saw in that video what those 5 students, all the other students have gone to the shore as the flood waters are increasing. They knew that these are flash floods, and they were all Telugu students. A few years back, they went to Uttarakhand. Despite the fact that so many students were calling them, come down, these are very serious floods, etc. Those 5 students had overconfidence. They thought nothing will happen to them. Now, they did not even imagine the severity of the flash floods. And 5 of the students, young students, paid with their life is because of overconfidence. That's not good, actually. Never have overconfidence. Now, why people lack self-confidence? Many times we see that many of the people have no self-confidence at all on them. Now, I was born in a small village in an agricultural family, and that too in 1939. So you can imagine I'm the first person who went to a high school in my village, and then later on I joined the defense forces. I joined only with the high school qualification. Then my childhood ambition was to become a teacher. And therefore, after my SLC, I wanted to help my mother because my father expired while I was in the school. I joined Air Force, but then the ambition that I wanted to become a teacher, I never left me. So I kept on studying while in the Air Force. I never drank liquor, or I never played cards and wasted my time. So I promised my mother before I went to the Air Force, when I come out of the Air Force after 15 years, I'll come out as a postgraduate and I'll become a lecturer in a college. So true to the promise that I gave to my mother, I kept on studying, and I did my PUC, BA, MA, LLB, all that while in the Air Force, and that too after my marriage and after my children were born. You know, it all believes, I believed that I am going to be a teacher one day, whatever maybe it is. So I kept on concentrating only on my studies. Now, why the self-confidence many people lack? It's wrong self-assessment. We believe that I come from a village, therefore I cannot be as good as city-bred children. Or I studied in Telugu medium, I cannot be as good as those people who studied in English medium. All that is nonsense. Basically, it has no reason. I studied only in Telugu medium. I learned ABCD only when I went to high school. So, brooding over mistakes. Yeah, sometimes we do some small mistakes, and then suppose in the intermediate you scored less marks. How does it matter? No, you can't do anything around that. Don't bother. Now get a gold medal in this one. I joined Air Force from Telugu medium. The English lessons were all in English, and then I used to be mostly at the bottom of the class, and I was afraid that I may lose that job. And I was getting 56 rupees stipend, and I used to keep 6 rupees for me, and 50 rupees I used to send to my mother. So I was worried that I may not be able to send my mother the money if I lose this job. So what do I do? If you are the lowest in the class and you are the last person in the class, then what do? You have to work hard. That's what I used to do. When the other boys sleep at 9 o'clock, in military barracks, lights are off at 9 o'clock. I used to pick my books and go to a lamp post and read. My classmates used to make fun of me next day in the parade. Satyanarayana is trying hard to get gold medal. He is reading under the lamp post and all that. I used to say, okay, let them make a laugh, let them laugh. It doesn't matter. But I used to increase my efforts. And let me tell you, friends, in the passing out parade after 1.5 years of my training, I did walk away with the gold medal in my class. So it only shows that if you have the determination, if you have self-confidence, you are not bothered about the mistakes that you committed in the past, you definitely will, your self-confidence will improve. Depending on others' opinions, just now, the girl who asked me the question, I forgot her name. So she said, yes, others are making comments, etc., etc. Why do you bother? Don't bother about others' opinions. In 1990, when I applied for the post of general manager in one of the government company in Hyderabad, they said, you are from military, nobody will give you, they are all recognized posts, these are government companies and all that. And believe me, friends, the chief secretary to the government of Andhra Pradesh was on the selection committee, he was the chairman, and I received my offer of the general manager on the same day. So therefore, in fact, many people told me, you are wasting 1 day of your life by going for the interview, you will not be selected. But I went with the confidence that I am going to get selected, and I got selected. So depending on others' opinions is another reason that why we actually lack self-confidence. So these are the 3 main reasons why we lack self-confidence. How to develop self-confidence? Be realistic, appreciate good things in ourselves, have a friend, take up new challenges, learn lessons from a spider. This is a small story. Robert Bruce was a king who lost his kingdom, and he saw a spider weaving its web again and again, and therefore he thought, I lost my kingdom, why am I hiding in the cave? He went out and collected his friends and waged a war on the occupier and got back his kingdom. Where did he get his lesson? He learned his lesson from the spider. So that is why the Rig Veda says, let noble thoughts come to us from every side. So it's always important that we learn from every creature, we learn from every live person. These are just small things, I'll miss it. Talking to yourself, praise yourself is very, very important. You can do that only when you know that you have not done any harm to anybody. You are praiseworthy, and because you are the only person who knows yourself, your father or your mother, your brothers, your sisters, your wife, everybody knows you only partly. The only person who knows you 100% is yourself, and to praise yourself is not that easy, and because you know what are the shortcomings that you have with you. So learn to praise yourself so that you will not be able to do any wrong to anybody else. Remove negative, clear, surround with positives. Yes. One or two anecdotes I will just mention. How a general created confidence in his soldiers that they are going to win the war. An army was watching, and tomorrow is the next day of the war, and that night they are all assembled in a temple. The general felt my soldiers are going to the war with the feeling that they are going to die, they are going to lose the war. And if any army goes to a war with the feeling that they are going to lose, it will definitely lose. So the general thought, this is not the way my soldiers should go for war. They should go for war with the winning spirit. So he took out a coin from his head and said, I will now toss this coin in the presence of God. If it is heads, we will win. If it is tails, we will lose. He threw the coin up, and then everybody came and saw that it was heads up. And then immediately the soldiers had a enthusiasm. Oh, we are going to win the war tomorrow. So next morning, they went to the war with that winning spirit, and they fought bravely and won the war. In the return journey, the general assembled them in the same temple and showed them, thank God you went to the war with the winning spirit and we won the war. And he took out the coin and showed them. It was a coin with heads on both sides. Now the problem is, it is not the coin that made them to win the war. They had the potential to win the war. Only thing is they didn't believe in themselves. The general only made them to believe in themselves that they had the potential to win the war through this coin. Nothing else. Same is the case with Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi. When Jamshedji Tata wanted to establish steel mill, everybody told him India cannot produce steel. You have only bullock carts. How will you establish a steel plant? And friends, in 1907 to 1911, in a matter of 3 years, transporting materials on bullock cart, they have completed the Tata Steel plant at Jamshedpur just within 3 years. Even in today, in 2021, I am sure we will not be able to establish a steel plant in 3 years' time. But Jamshedji Tata, his vision, of course, he was not there by the time the steel plant was to execute. His sons, Dorab Tata and Ratan Tata, not this Ratan Tata, Jamshedji's son, another Ratan Tata, both of them completed the project. So he believed that India can manufacture steel. He believed that India can establish steel plant when the whole world did not believe. So that is the type of thing. Same is the case with Swami Vivekananda. How he went to America, how he delivered the. In fact, I suggest all of you, you must all recite or memorize Swami Vivekananda's inaugural speech. Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. I thank you in the name of millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. I can recite the whole speech. I am sure. And every morning in my morning walk, I walk. Actually, Swamiji told me a little more my age. I am just 82, running 83rd year. But I walk almost 10, 12 kilometers every day. And I recite, one of the things that I recite in addition to the scriptures or the slokas and the poems, etc. One of the things I recite every morning is the Swami Vivekananda's Chicago address. I recite every morning in my morning walk. So do keep doing that. Why people come for fish medicine? All of you know that it's a confidence. People believe that once the fish medicine goes inside, actually it does nothing. It actually purges out the next day along with Esprita. But still, for some people, the asthma is cured. You know why it is cured? Because along with that, they get a chit. Don't eat gungora, don't eat avakaya, don't eat this brinjal. And some people follow that religiously. And for those people, the asthma is cured. And they think the fish has cured the medicine. So these are all, belief. Swami Vivekananda not frightened by the threat of the gardener about once a gardener threatened Swami Vivekananda and his friends, there are ghosts in the garden. Vivekananda told his friends, if there are ghosts in the garden, why did they not harm us so far? So don't believe that gardener. Same is the case when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa one day asked Swami Vivekananda, people call me God. Do you also believe that I am God? Swami Vivekananda bluntly told him, even if the whole world calls you God, I will not believe that you are God. I will believe that you are God only when I am convinced that you are God. That is the amount of self-confidence that Swami Vivekananda had. On the day when Swami Vivekananda told him that I will believe only when I am convinced, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa felt, here is the man who can take my name across the globe. Here is the man whom he made him the main disciple on that day. These are some more anecdotes. I'll skip that. How I came out with the job offer. After my first 15 years in the military, I came out in 1974. And another 24-25 years, I worked in the civil life, went to HR area. I retired as senior general manager HR in 1997. I changed at least a dozen jobs in that 12 years and the 24 years. Now, every time I wanted to change a job, I used to make applications. Whenever I made an application, I was not sure I'll get an interview. If I make a dozen applications, I used to get one interview. But whenever I went for an interview, I used to go with the feeling that I will get the job. And believe me, friends, not even one interview I lost. Every interview I attended, I came out with the job offer. It means when I applied, I didn't have confidence that I'll get the interview. But when I went for the interview, I was sure that I'll get the offer. So it probably, when I applied also, if I had the same confidence, I would have got. But why did I not have the confidence when I made applications? Because I knew my background. My English was not up to mark, at least from the general standards. And then, I thought maybe my application was not that impressive. Therefore, if you honestly examine, you will know what deficiencies you have. That is the reason why I always, in fact, one of the interviews, one lady told me that one interview where the lady did not told me that why she is not selecting. She said, Satyanarayana Garu, you are almost like a Gandhi, and whereas the people whom I am looking for, they are cutthroat people, you will not match. So don't take this job. Otherwise, I will offer you the job, but I wish you should not take this job. That's what happens. Okay. So a few more anecdotes. I think this frogs issue I have told you already, and the boy who was sleeping in the back bench and who did not hear what the teacher was saying solved both the problems. One day, a maths teacher wrote 2 problems on the blackboard and said, these 2 problems have not been solved by anybody. The entire class said, if nobody has been able to solve in this world so far, how can I solve? So they went out and they did not even attempt. But there was one boy who was sleeping in the back bench. When he got up, he neither saw teacher there nor students there, but he saw 2 problems on the blackboard. He thought this must be a homework for tomorrow. He wrote down both the problems. He went home and solved both the problems and came. The teacher was surprised. He said, you didn't hear what I said yesterday? He said, no, sir, I was sleeping on the black bench, and therefore I did not hear what you said. So that is the reason why I told that young girl, don't listen to others. Sometimes it's good that you don't listen. You know this story. An eagle's egg was hatched with hen's eggs, and that eagle, though it was an eagle, It never knew it was an eagle. It lived all its life like a hen. It finally also died one day like a hen only. So this is how why did the eagle not go up? Why did the eagle not fly? It is not aware that it is an eagle. That is the whole problem. All of you have abundant potential. You have tremendous amount of potential to rise up in your lifetime. But most of you do not know your full potential. You underestimate your potential. You imagine yourself to be low. That is the whole problem. Many people said heavier than air, anything can fly. But Wright brothers believed that they can invent, and they survived. They succeeded. This lady, you know, Malavat Purna from Telangana, the first lady to climb Mount Everest. You know this lady, born without hands, Jessica Cox. She doesn't have both hands at birth. And she look at all the jobs that she does with her legs. At birth, her parents did not take pity on her. They told her, you just don't have two hands. Look at the other children, what they are doing with their hands. You do it with your legs. God has given you two legs. So this girl started typing with her legs, started reading with her legs, started combing her hair with legs, started driving car with her legs, and started flying aircraft. She is the first licensed pilot to drive an aircraft with her legs. If that is the level of confidence that she had. When she went to learn flying, the flying club people were not ready to admit her. She said, why are you worried? I am able to do everything. Why I cannot fly? You just teach me how to fly, I will fly. That is the level of confidence she had. Look at, she is a graduate, she is a motivational speaker, etc. Look at this man. He is Mark Inglis. He lost both his legs while climbing a mountain in Europe. On the day he lost both his legs, amputated, he decided, I will climb Mount Everest with these two artificial legs. And he climbed finally one day. He came to Ranchi and delivered a lecture how he climbed Mount Everest with these two artificial legs. Self-confidence, nothing else, my dear friends. This man is called Naresh Katuria. This man lost both his legs in a lorry accident. His father was a driver. So one day in his father's friends, who was also a driver, he was middling with the latch, door latch, sitting in the driver's cabin, and suddenly he fell down and the wheels ran out, or legs, both legs are amputated. But look at Naresh. Today he is part of Google team. He is in Google, Hyderabad. And he did his computer science MTech from IIT Madras. Nothing comes in the way if you have confidence, self-confidence. Nothing, friends. Don't just. Oscar Pistoria, you know, this man has spring legs and he runs. This man is Arun Kumar from Karimnagar. He lost both his hands to an electric shock, but he is a teacher in a government school. He teaches with his legs. He writes on the blackboard with his leg. See, look at how he is teaching. This is a visually challenged team, which reached the base camp, 12,900 feet high. I don't know how many of you know, recently the Jain group of schools, Mr. Dr. Chandrasekhar, took 25 girls from the Jain schools from Hyderabad. The youngest kid was only 7 years. He took all of them to the Everest base camp on an expedition, and it's something mind-boggling. He wrote a book called what is that? One More Step. I think a beautiful book. I read the book. He sent me a complimentary copy. I read it. This is the Dandi Salt March in 2005. Mahatma Gandhi did this in 1930. So this was the 75th year, Platinum Jubilee. Mahatma Gandhi's great grandson organized this. And I participated in this. You can see me from the left, the standing on the second in the white lalchi is me, standing behind that physically challenged person in the wheelchair. I was standing in the middle of those three people. So I walked this march, 388 kilometers in 1960, in 2006, 2005. At that time, I was 66 years. And Mahatma Gandhi himself was only 61 when he did this march. In fact, many people discouraged me from this. They said, "Why do you want to kill yourself in the Gujarat heat? You are now 66." But what I did, I wanted to do this march. So on the day of I saw this application on the computer screen. I went to a doctor, got myself tested, and then posted it. When I got my registration, my number was 0001. And that was further a motivation for me to walk, and I walked over a period of 1 month, 380 kilometers, exactly halting where Gandhiji halted. And why I want to do this? Because this was the first step where the India defied the British rule, and Gandhi picked up a salt, defying the law. The Britishers were convinced that we cannot rule this country anymore. This is how I used to walk in that white canvas shoe, black pant, and that half sleeve shirt was me in the walking at the front. So, and this I did again at the age of 66 in Agra. This is called parasailing. I don't know how many of you did this. I was wearing a black shoe, not even a canvas shoe. My friend Colonel Singh, who was in charge of the NCC, their activity, he asked me, "Satyanarayana Garu, would you like to do parasailing at this age?" I said, "Why not?" So the toughest job with this parasailing is till you are lifted from the ground, the parachute is at the back, the jeep is in the front, and you are in the middle. Now you will have to run along with the jeep till the parachute lifts you. Now that is the toughest challenge. Running at the speed of jeep at the age of 66 till the parachute lifts you from the ground is the toughest challenge. And I had the confidence that I will be able to do that. And believe me, friends, I did that without falling down. And this is where I am coming down from the parachute. You can see at the age of 66, I did this. People will not dare do this because why break legs or etc. So this speaks about the self-confidence. I wanted to show you something for my own example. So I hope this made some sense. At 6:15, can I take another 15 minutes to show you something on character?
Yes, sir. Till 7:30, it's up. It's your
my
time.
session is up
Yes,
to
sir.
7:30. I am
Yes,
happy.
sir.
I say thank you so much. Okay, good. So I'll close this PPT now. Now I'll show you one video. I'll have to go for screen. You are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir. The desktop is visible.
Desktop is visible. So I'll play another video. This is about Sai Prasad Viswanathan, who is from Hyderabad. He was born almost at the age of 13 days, I think he was spinal cord operation. Is there any participant who cannot understand Telugu? Out of these 74, 75 participants that we have here, 85 participants we have. Oh, great. Anyone who cannot understand Telugu?
Yes, sir.
Sir, there
How
are
many?
5 to 6 people, sir.
6 people. Okay. I'm sorry for you, but then you'll be able to understand from the boys' actions and movements as to what it is, and I'll explain you in the end. This is a Telugu video. Okay, can I play?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So click on more apps. More apps అని ఉంటాయి. More apps అని ఉంటాయి కదా సార్ అక్కడ.
More options ఉన్నాయా?
More apps అని ఉన్నాయి కదా సార్ అది నొక్కండి. ఓపెన్ విత్ నొక్కండి. ఓపెన్ విత్ అని నొక్కండి.
ఓకే.
అక్కడ మోర్ యాప్స్ అని ఉన్నాయి కదా ఒకసారి చూడండి అక్కడ VLC.
మోర్ యాప్స్ అని ఉన్నాయా? ఓకే.
అక్కడ విండోస్ మీడియా ప్లేయర్ అని ఉంది. దానిలో ప్లే చేసి లేకపోతే VLC ఏమైనా ఉంటే
Okay, let us see if it comes. I am happy. It's not coming, I think.
recommended settings.
Okay, don't worry. Leave it like that. Okay. I'll show this. Let me see if I have a English video at least. Okay. look at this video. Wilma Rodolph, I think. Let's see if this works. Okay, Wilma Rodolph. Nothing stopped from achieving her dreams. In fact, we have many examples like this even in India. Dasarath Manji, the man who cut the whole hill and made a Manji mark. The villagers laughed at him. They said, "How can you cut a hill with your hand?" He said, "I will cut one stone one time." Something is still playing. So, one stone at one time I'll cut. That's what he said. And he did cut the whole hill with his just hands, plain hands. We have many, many examples how self-confidence can play wonders. Now, on the character building, I have one small thoughts on human character. It's a beautiful PPT.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I want to share one of my previous year's lessons with you.
Okay.
There's a man called Mildred, there was a stone, and there was a man called Stone. He was a
Tell me, yeah. Please tell me. You went mute?
No, sir, he's unmuted itself, but he's not able to talk. Sir,
Not
we can
able to
continue with
express.
the presentation.
Okay, do one thing. You have my
At
number.
last.
You can call me personally and then express yourself. తెలుగులో చెప్పు పర్వాలేదు, నీ మాతృభాషలో చెప్పు, ఇంగ్లీష్ లోనే చెప్పాలని ఏం లేదు.
yes, sir. There was a man called there's a man called
Harshaditya, this is a session that sir has to take. So please don't disturb. You have any queries, we will take it up at the end of the session. Okay.
So
sir, class continuation, sir.
These thoughts on human character, it will take few minutes. I'll just run through this and then we'll discuss. No problem. I am not in a hurry. Even up to 8 o'clock, I am willing to stand if Supriya permits me. I have no problem.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay. Thoughts on human character.
yes, sir. There was a man. There's a man.
Sir.
Okay, just wait till this PPT is over. I will listen to you. Okay. A pastor who was boarding a bus one Monday morning paid his fare to the driver, who gave him too much change. So the pastor went back to the driver and said, "Excuse me, sir, you gave me back too much change." You know what the driver said? The driver replied, "No, pastor, I did not give you too much change. I was at your church yesterday. You preached on honesty. So I just thought I would put you to the test." The pastor, he gave him more change. If the pastor did not come back, it means the pastor was only speaking. He was not following. He was not practicing what he preached. But fortunately, the pastor went back to the driver and said, "You gave me more change." That talked about how honest he was. He was not only preaching, but he was practicing honesty. Believe me, friends, being honest is always good. I am not saying most of you not to make money. Make money like Jamshedji Tata. Make money like JRD Tata. Make money like Narayan Murthy of Infosys. Make money like Ajim Premji. But you be honest and still make money. You also must know that the money that you are making, it must go back to the society, not to your kith and kin, not to your children. Why? Because it came from the society. It has to go back to the society. You know why? One reason why America is so prosperous, so rich, it is just, you know, we claim to be having a civilization sometime of 5,000 years, sometime of 5,000 years, sometime 10,000 years, some 20,000 years. But America is a country with only 300 or 400 years of civilization. But why is it so prosperous? Why is it so rich? Because all the founding fathers of America, whether they are entrepreneurs, industrialists, or statesmen, or parliamentarians, they have all believed that the wealth that they got into their hands does not belong to them. It belongs to the nation. Henry Ford, who made money in tons in automobiles, or Andrew Carnegie, who made money in tons through steel, or David Rockefeller, who made money in tons through oil. They all gave back the entire money back to the nation in the form of establishing universities or hospitals or libraries or research centers, etc. They did not give $1 to their children. Now, that is the reason why America has become so prosperous. Now, not that I have much wealth, but when I made it clear to my sons, whatever little I have, you're not going to get 1 rupee from me. It will all go back to the society. I'll give to some charity. So the point I'm trying to tell you is, be honest, make honest money, and nothing wrong in making money, but be honest, and also be clear that the money does not belong to you. It belongs to the nation. It belongs to the society. It belongs to the community. There are a lot of tests in life to see if we have character or integrity. You know what is Character means all of us know that, yes, you should be a good man, you should help others, you should be ethical, you should be moral and all that. But what is integrity? Can any of you tell me what is integrity? Can you define integrity? Anyone?
I think integrity is the sincerity we show towards our profession, work, or whatever we do, anything we do.
Good attempt, sir. Good attempt. What's your name?
Anirudh, sir.
Anirudh. Good attempt, Anirudh.
Thank you.
Great. Next, anybody else who wants to attempt other than Anirudh? Anirudh?
You can say aligning. Integrity. Aligning with the thoughts, sir.
Okay. So integrity is nothing but, you know, in Sanskrit we say manasa vacha karmana. What you think and what you speak and what you do must be consistent. It means నీ మనసులో ఏముందో అదే చెప్పాలి, నువ్వు ఏం చెబుతావో అదే చెయ్యాలి. If there is consistency between your thought, word and action, then you are a person of integrity. If there is no consistency between your thought, your word and your action, then you are not a person of integrity. Okay? Character is what you I'll take this to this corner. Character is what you have. Character is what you have, what you are when you are alone. What you do when there is no one else around to impress. That's the most important. Is I keep on telling an example. Many times, say at night 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, when there is a red light, there is no constable. What most of us do? We just go. Why? But there is no constable. There is also no traffic. So how does it matter whether it is red or green? But we conveniently forget when there is red for you, there will be green for somebody else. And then when you risk your life, sometime you play with your life or you play with your body parts, your leg lost or your hand lost or your brain dead, anything can happen. Why does this happen? Because you lack character. So character is what you do when you are alone. Nobody is watching you. In fact, everybody is, there is somebody at least who is watching you from the top. Remember that. It has been said that the measure of someone's character is what they would do when no one is around to find out. That's what it is. In fact, once a father and son went to steal grain from a neighbor's field. The father was looking at the son and said, son, look, nobody is looking at us, no? The son said, no, father, there is somebody looking at us. The God from the top is looking at us. The father came back without stealing. That seems to be the motivation for a lot of things in life. In fact, once an young boy, like most of you, went to an elderly person and said, what career should I choose? He said, try to choose the career to be a good human being. Because there is hardly any competition for that. And you will be the happiest person in life if you are a good human being. Why do we need so much wealth? Why do we need, in fact, Swamiji was mentioning, yes, both my children are in US, but I still travel in RTC bus. And I know I'll not tell you that we have no servants at home. It is me and my wife who do all the jobs. I wash vessels. I don't leave any vessels in the work. I dry clothes. We do every job. I do every job at home. I assist my wife. What is the problem? Why do we need more money? Why do we not do this or that? Why do we not speed? Because we don't want to get pulled over by the highway patrol. If that is the reason we are not speeding, then that's not correct. You must not speed, because if you speed, you are putting your life into danger. Believe in that. Otherwise, if constable is not there, if you will speed. That's not good. Integrity comes in where the fear of being caught leaves off. Integrity is that nobody is seeing at you, but you want to be honest. Nobody is. Fear is a fine deterrent and it has its place, but a better motive is feeling to do what is right. In fact, doing right is the thing. D.L. Modi defined character as what you will do if you are in the dock. It comes down to what you think about when you're all alone. What television programs are on your list to record? What websites do you visit? What would these things say about you? So when you are alone, that is your real self. That's your character. What you pretend is not. What makes you sad? What makes you mad? What makes you laugh? What makes you angry? Now, many of, I keep sending mails, I have followers in all over the world. I have followers in Australia, I have followers in Canada, I have followers in US, I have followers in many countries. And Reverend Puja Swamiji, Bodhmayanandaji is also on my mailing list. He keeps getting my mails every day. So I keep writing sometimes on my mailbox with sad, with sorrow, because I look at the world, the horrible things that are happening. Why are they happening? Only because people lack character. A German proverb says, a man shows his character by what he laughs at. Sometimes, people are so cruel. In fact, I keep on telling the current pandemic is nothing but it's the result of our own actions. We have been so cruel to animals. We kill every animal and eat. What business you have to kill that animal? It has the same blood like you in its veins. Why should you eat an animal when you can eat the grains or the greens, vegetables? It's a mistake. It's a definitely you are not conscious. The day you started killing an animal and eating it, you also started killing animals, killing humans. A person in Maharashtra cut his own mother and ate her heart. What is the difference? There is a Russian couple who ate 31 humans because they found human meat is more tastier than other meats. Nothing wrong. So why people eat meat? Why people eat animals? And is it not a sin that we do this? And is it not that we are paying in form of corona? And it's poison. And I don't know how many of you realize this. If you want to eat meat like lions or tigers, you must eat meat raw. The cooked meat is poison. Character is simply a young habit continue. It has been said, this is a very famous, popular proverb, sow a thought, reap an act, sow an act, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. In fact, most of your habits, how do you leave your shoes when you reach home? What do you do with your clothes? When you get up, do you make your bed? After you take your bath, do you clean your bathroom? In fact, after my bath, I dry my bathroom and come out. I dry my bathroom. I have a towel to wipe the watermarks from the floor, from the floors, etc. I have a wall-mounted fan to dry the bathroom, and my bathroom is new always as it was given to me at the time of construction. And I don't use any acids or nothing of the sort, only because I don't allow any stain to remain in the bathroom. Many people who visit my home tell me, how is that your bathrooms are so clean? How is that your sinks are so clean? How is that your balconies are so clean? Because I clean it with my mind. I don't allow servants to clean. I don't have servants, first of all, in my home. So why will they not be clean? They will be clean. Every day we are faced with hundreds, maybe even thousands of decisions about doing either the right or the wrong. If you do certain thing, you will get there before anybody else. How many of you have seen that video? I don't know if I have that video. Abel Mutai. That African was running a race and he thought he finished the line. But there was a European who was running behind him. And he started telling him in English that the finish line is still ahead. You don't stop. But that man was not understanding. So virtually, this man from behind pushed him to the finish line, and so that man wins the race. A lot of press reporters went to that man and asked him, you could have won the race and got the gold medal. Why did you push that African to the finish line? He said, sir, it was his right to win that gold medal, not me, because I was behind. I could not catch up with him. It was his mistake that he thought he has finished the line and therefore he stopped. Now, if I take the medal and go, my own conscience will tell me that you cheated. You don't deserve this medal. And what will my mother think of me if I go back with the medal? He will say, I gave birth to an idiot. I gave birth to a valueless man. My mother will condemn me. Then how can I go to home with my medal, with that medal which I did not deserve? Now that is character. That is integrity. Am I doing either right or the wrong? If that man ran and took the medal, it was a wrong thing. But he didn't do that. He pushed that man who rightly deserves to the finish line, and he took only the runner-up medal. If you do a certain thing, you will get there before anybody else. Yes, this man could have got there to the finish line before that other person. If you lie just a little bit, you can cut this corner. You can cheat just a little bit. You can pass an examination, but your conscience will never be clean. You will always feel yourself as a low-grade person because you copied and finished the examination. There always will be these temptations to take the shortcuts, but those shortcuts can sometimes harm you permanently in your life. Don't go for these shortcuts, okay? The evening of the life is determined by the morning of it. I don't know how many of you have seen that beautiful video by Steve Jobs, the man who invented Apple. All of you must go back to YouTube and listen to that video. He says, what is the point of my earning so much money, so much this one? Now in my deathbed, I am alone. And he died almost at the age of 52 or 53. Very young age. But what is the point of ruining your health at the cost of earning money? So don't do this. Don't spoil your health. Health is the most important wealth. There is no wealth which can equal to the health. So take care of health and maintain good health. And always remember that when you are a good human being, your parents will feel proud of you. Not by the amount of money that you earn, but by the amount of good name. In fact, Sumati Satguna Padyam undi. Putrotsahamu tandriki putrudu janminchinapude puttadu janula putruni kanugoni pagadaga putrotsahamu naadu pondaru Sumati. On the day when people praise you, your parents will feel proud of you. So remember that your parents will be happy to see that you are a good human being. The decisions you make today will pay out tomorrow. You can compile an impressive and long list of accomplishments in life, but if you don't have the integrity, if you don't have the character, it really doesn't matter. You've seen what happened to many people who went behind bars after so much. What is the point? No point. To be a man or woman of character should be at the top of your list, because the stand you take today will determine what kind of stand you will take tomorrow. This is the most important thing. Be a person of character. You see, you can be a sculptor. You can be, one of my advocate friend, Mr. Ravichandar, who stays in Ashok Nagar, told me almost 30, 40 years back, Satyanarayana Garu, let my son become a barber or a cobbler, it doesn't matter. But I want my son to be the best barber in the world or the best cobbler in the world. So it's not necessary that what profession you get into. You may be a painter, you may be a sculptor, you may be a chess player, you may be a chess player, you may be a tennis player, you may be a shuttle player. You can be anything. You can be a good poet, you can be a good singer. But it is not necessary that everybody should only become an IAS officer or everybody should become an IIT or IIM. Not necessary at all. You can be a good tailor. You can be a good sculptor. You can be a good painter. So, but be a good human being. That's all that is secondary. Okay. So thank you so much. God bless you all. I think I'll stop at this because I have already overshot by about 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a session. Your life experiences itself are self-confidence and character building lessons.
Thank you, Supriya. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Just give them 5 minutes time if they want to ask.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'll again post your mail ID also, sir, in the chat box so that if they have any questions, they can get back to you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah. Should we close then?
Yes, sir. So it's your wish. Like one question we could take, sir. Any one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyone? Uh, any one participant?
Yeah, this is Rangacharlu here. Can I take the, can I have the
Yes,
privilege?
sir.
Yes, Rangacharlu, go ahead. Yeah.
So it's very impressive and interesting, means very inspiring as well. Thank you
I'm
so
happy.
much. Thank you so much for your kind time spent with us. I think it's one of the wonderful session of my life, and we owe a
You
big.
made my day, Rangacharlu garu.
Thank you, sir. No, you made all of our days. So what we made for you is very little. So basically, you have a lot of content. So if you want to get in touch with you for further learnings,
Most
and
welcome.
can we be getting in touch with you on email? And also, the presentation that you made was excellent. So
Yeah.
if you can share it with us, maybe if I have anything to know further, I will definitely get in touch with
Most
you.
welcome. Most welcome. Be in touch for anything that you want. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Okay, Supriya.
Yes, sir. I have posted the mail ID, sir. Your mail ID.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a session. Always, it is a very nice experience to listen to your class, sir.
Thank you so much, Amma.
Last
I am
class, sir.
blessed.
Yes, sir. Sir,
If
with
you
your
are-
permission, could we end the session now, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. We'll end
Yeah.
the session with the Shanti mantra.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So,
much.
request all the participants to mute their mics. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरिः ओम तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु जय श्री राम कृष्ण and Shubharatri to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.